What's up, guys? Here we have a video about something called the average rate of change of a function. And the average rate of a function, rate of change, is given by this formula. Delta y over delta x is equal to f of b minus f of a divided by b minus a on the interval from a to b. Okay, so given this formula we can calculate the average rate of change, delta y over delta x, and we have a few problems here that we're gonna work through. The first problem we're gonna do is number 1, and we have f of x is equal to 4x squared minus 7, and the interval they give us in this case is from 1 to b. So let's use our formula to find the average rate of change for number 1. Alright, we have f of b, but in this case, instead of writing f of b, I'm going to replace x with b right here. Instead of putting x, we have b. Alright, so this is what it looks like. So f of b is 4b squared minus 7. Okay, and we're going to subtract minus f of a, which in this case is 4 times 1 to the power of 2 minus 7. And I'm going to use parentheses to keep our quantities together. So we have f of b right here, and I have f of a right here, which is just f of 1. Because in this case, our value for a is 1, and our value for b is just b. Cool. And we're going to take this quantity and divide it by b minus a. Well, b is just b in this case, minus a, which is 1, like that. So now we can start simplifying this to get our average rate of change. This is a 1 right here. All right, so here we go. This is equal to, well, inside the first parentheses, we have 4b squared, which is just 4b squared. We can drop the parentheses. Minus 7 minus, right? Minus, let's put another parenthesis, because we're subtracting the whole quantity. We're not just subtracting the first term, all right? We're subtracting the whole value of f of a. And this inside, this right here inside the parentheses gives us f of a. So we have 4 times 1 squared, which is just 4, minus 7. Divided by b minus 1. And all of this is still change of y over change in x. Let's keep reducing it further to get our answer. So this equals, well, we can't do anything to 4b squared minus 7. So we're just going to keep it as 4b squared minus 7 minus, well, 4 minus 7 is negative 3. Divided by b minus 1. Okay, let's keep going. We have 4b squared minus 7 minus a negative 3, which is the same as, say, plus 3 over b minus 1. Let's keep going. We have 4b squared minus 7 plus 3 is equal to minus 4 divided by b minus 1. So far, so good. All right, let's keep going. I'm going to move it down here, and then we'll keep doing the math, all right? So here we go. Let's keep going. We have now, I'm going to take out a 4 since they share it. So 4 times b squared minus 1 divided by b minus 1. Right here, this term that I'm going to highlight, this one right here, that polynomial is a difference of perfect squares. So we can rewrite it like this. 4 times, the first term is going to be b and b. And it's a minus, so it's going to be plus and minus. And 1 is equal to 1 squared. So we have 1 and 1. If you FOIL this out, you'll get this term back. Divided by b minus 1. Now we can see something actually pretty neat. We can see that the b minus 1's cancel. So we're left with 4 times b plus 1. This is our average rate of change. However, we must stipulate that b cannot equal 1. Because if you put a b as equal to 1, we get a 0 in the denominator, and that's not allowed. Okay? So this is our full answer for number 1. All right? All right, let's continue to the next example now. So that's our answer for that one. So 4 times b plus 1, and b cannot equal 1. So our answer here is 4 times b plus 1 with the stipulation that b cannot equal 1. And that's our answer for that one. Awesome. Let's move on to the next example. I'm going to keep that formula there, and I'm going to try to get it all in one, all in here so that we don't have to move around. Let's do another harder one. Let's move down to, how about number 4? All right, we're giving k of x is equal to 4x minus 2 on the interval from 3 to 3 plus h. So let's start off. All right, here we go. We have, in this case, our a value for number 4 is 3, and our b value is 3 plus h. Okay, cool. So let's do the math. Delta y over delta x is equal to f of b, which is just going to be parentheses 4, and instead of x, we're going to put 3 plus h. 4 times the quantity 3 plus h minus 2, that's our f of b, minus f of a, which is going to be 4 times 3 minus 2. Just like that. Awesome possum. Let's keep going. Divided by, well, we have b minus a. So it's going to be 3 plus h minus 3. Hey, we see that the 3's cancel out. So let's get rid of them. Our denominator now becomes h only. So let's solve this up here. The numerator now. Let's try to simplify it a bit. We have 4 times 3 is 12, plus 4 times h is 4h. And then you have minus 2. Minus 4 times 3 is 12. 12 minus 2 is 10. All over h. From here we can see that h cannot equal 0. Because if we do that, we get a denominator 0, and that's undefined. For the same reasons why number 1, b cannot equal to 1. Okay? So just keep that in mind. We want to make sure we tell the values of what h can be. Okay? Because at that value, h, number 4 is undefined, the average rate of change. All right, let's keep going. Well, from here, I see that 12 minus 2 is 10. So I'm going to rewrite the top as 4h plus 10. Okay? I just swapped the positions. You can do that with addition because addition is commutative. And we have minus 10 divided by h. Cool. We can drop the parentheses on the numerator now because there's nothing to perform. So we have 4h plus 10 minus 10 over h. This becomes 4h, and 10 minus 10 is 0. So all we have left is 4h divided by h, which is equal to 4. And that's our answer. The h's cancel. So delta y over delta x. So the average rate of change in this case is simply 4. Okay? So delta y over delta x is equal to 4. And that makes sense that 4 is a constant number because it's a linear function. So linear functions, right, they have the same rate of change everywhere. No matter what point you pick, from here to here is the same rate of change as from here to here. Okay? That's the property of lines. They have constant rate of change. All right? So it's just a constant number, so we're just going to leave it as 4. Okay? Because there's nothing to plug in for h. It really doesn't matter what h is. The average rate of change is 4 no matter what. So we can just leave it as 4. So that's number 4. Number 4 is equal to 4. Huh. Pretty funny. All right, let's move on to another example. Let's move on to a harder one. I want to do number... Oh, let's try one of these functions right here. Let's try number 8 right there. So our a value for number 8, a is equal to 1, and b is equal to 1 plus h. Awesome. And we have b of x is equal to 1 over x plus 3. So our change in y over our change in x, which is the average rate of change, is equal to, well, f of b is 1 over, instead of x we put b, it's going to be 1 plus h plus 3. Because this whole thing right here is x, right? It's our b value. So 1 plus h plus 3. 1 plus h plus 3. Cool. Minus 1 over, well, f of a is 1 over 1 plus 3. All divided by b minus a, which is 1 plus h minus 1. Cool. Again, like last time, the ones in the bottom cancel out. So we're going to get, in this case, let's simplify the numerator also. We got 1 over, we can drop the parentheses up here because there's nothing to perform inside them. So we're going to drop them. So we get 1 plus h plus 3, which is the same thing as h plus 4. Minus 1 over 4 divided by h. Cool, cool, cool. All right, so far so good. Now, this is not a very nice fraction, so let's see if we can get rid of it. We can combine some terms. Let's go with the numerator. Let's see if we can combine it. In order to combine it, we have to have the same denominators, okay? So what I'm going to do with the top, right now, I'm going to focus on the numerator right over here, okay? So let's simplify the numerator over here. 1 over, let's thin that out. So we have 1 over h plus 4 minus 1 over 4. I'm going to make these have the same denominator. So what I'm going to do is I'll multiply this one by h plus 4 over h plus 4. And I'm going to multiply this one over here by 4 over 4. Okay? We'll see why. So let's just do the math and I'll show you why. 4 times 1 is 4 over, well, 4 times h plus 4 is simply 4 times h plus 4, like that. Minus, well, 1 times h plus 4 is the same thing as h plus 4 over 4 times h plus 4. Now we can see that the denominators are equal. So we can combine the numerators now under one denominator. So 4 minus h plus 4 over 4 times h plus 4. Cool. Now we can simplify this even further. 4, let's distribute the negative. 4 times 8 minus 1 times h is minus h, and the negative into the positive 4 turns it into a negative 4 over 4 times h plus 4, just like that. From here you can see that the 4's cancel out and we're left with the negative h on top. So we get negative h over 4 times h plus 4. So this is now our simplified numerator. Okay, so let's keep going. This is equal to negative h over 4 times h plus 4, right, divided by h. So now I'm going to delete this bottom one so I can have room. Feel free to rewind or pause the video to see how I simplified the numerator. I'm going to make this equal over here now. Now, when you have a number, let's say the number 16, and you divide it by 2, that's the same thing as saying 16 times a half. Okay? This is the reason why. So I'm going to rewrite this with a division symbol. So this is the same thing as saying 16 divided by 2, which we can then change it into a reciprocal, like that. Okay? So let's do it with this one. So our numerator is now going to be minus h over 4 times h plus 4, right? And instead of saying divided by h, I'm going to say times 1 over h. Dividing by a number is the same thing as multiplying by its reciprocal. Now, let's multiply this out. We get negative h over 4 times h plus 4 times h. So far so good? So far so good. Okay? We can then cancel out the h's, this one and that one. So now we're left with negative 1 over 4 times h plus 4. And from here we can see that h cannot equal negative 4. And from earlier up here, from this one, you can also stipulate that h cannot equal 0. But that doesn't really look like it affects, yeah, from the original function up here, this one right here, h also cannot equal 0. Okay? So it cannot equal 4 and it cannot equal 0. Negative 4 and it cannot equal 0. So the average rate of change is equal to delta y over delta x is equal to minus 1 over 4 times h plus 4. You could technically distribute the 4 if you want. So let's just go ahead and do that. 4 times h is equal to 4h. And 4 times 4 is equal to 16. This is our average rate of change. H cannot equal negative 4. And it cannot equal 0. From our original one right here, right? Before we started doing all these manipulation tactics, h can't be 0. Otherwise, we get undefined. We get 0 in the bottom and 0 here. Wait, can it be 0? I'm not sure. I'll find that out. But for sure, x cannot equal -4. Let me know in the comments if you guys think it can equal 0. I'm open to learning something new. But I'm reserved to say that h can be 0 because of this original one before I did the manipulation. Because we can't forget what we originally start with and think that it applies for all of them. Okay? So let's just stick with it cannot equal -4 or 0. Just so we don't forget the original condition and then the next, the last condition we have because of the manipulation we did. Okay? Alright guys, let's do one more and then we'll finish off with average rate of change. And in here, I want to do we did a very challenging one. So let's try, we did a one with rational. Let's just do number 11. I haven't done it yet, so let's do it together. Alright, so for number 11, A is equal to X and B is equal to X plus H. I'm not sure what's going to happen, but I'm not scared to try. Oh well, it is what it is. So our average rate of change for number 11 is going to be f of b minus f of a. F of b is going to be, let's start with parentheses. Let's just keep it all black. I hope you guys can follow along. So f of b is 2 x plus h quantity squared minus 3 x plus h quantity squared, quantity, not squared. All right, cool. That takes care of f of b minus f of a, which is just going to be, well, in this case, a is just x, so it's going to be the original function we have. So 2x squared minus 3x, just like that, divided by x plus h minus x. Cool? Cool. All right, here we can see that the x's cancel. So right out the bat, we see that h cannot equal 0. Okay? Because the x's go away. The x minus x is 0, so we're left with h in the bottom. I'm going to start simplifying the numerator as much as I can. So here we go. So 2 times, well, we have a binomial that's squared, so we're going to use the FOIL method. X plus h, x plus h. FOIL, first, outer, inner, last. So the first terms are the ones that show up first in the binomial. So x and x come first, right? So we have to multiply them. X times x is x squared. I'll give myself more room. All right, we're done with f. Outer is the terms on the outside, here and here, because they are the outermost terms. X times h is equal to x times h. Inner are the ones on the inside that are closest to each other. Again, it's the same thing as h times x is the same as x times h. And last are the terms that are lagging behind, h and h, which in this case becomes h squared. Cool? Minus 3 times x is 3x, and negative 3x, negative 3 times x is negative 3x, minus, because we have a negative, minus 3 times h is minus 3h. This is still only f of b, the first term, okay? Minus, and now we have the next one. There's nothing to perform there because the variable wasn't changed. So it's simply going to be 2x squared minus 3x, just like that. All divided by h. This one's a doozy, I can already tell. All right, let's keep going. No quitting now. Let me move it to give ourselves more room. All right, here we go. All right, now let's see what we can do. Oh, we can distribute the 2 into all of them. And you can actually combine this xh into 2xh because there's 2 of them. All right, so let's do the first step. Let's leave the 2 alone first, like I mentioned, and let's simplify the inside polynomial. So x squared plus 2xh plus h squared minus 3x minus 3h, all of this minus, I'm going to distribute the negative into here. So we have minus 2x squared plus 3x. Remember, a negative times a positive is a negative, and a negative times a negative is a positive. Okay? So I distribute it so I can drop the parentheses. Cool. All divided by h. All right? Let's keep going. No use in crying. Now I'm going to distribute the 2 into all of this so I can drop the parentheses. So 2 times x squared is 2x squared. 2 times 2xh is 4xh. And 2 times h squared is 2h squared. And since we distribute the negative, I can just keep writing the inside, and I drop the parentheses because I already distributed the 2. Minus 3x minus 3x minus 3h. I drop the parentheses because I distributed the 2 and there's nothing else to perform. Okay? Let's keep going. Minus 2x squared plus 3x, all divided by h. All right, it looks like we're getting somewhere. All right, because I can see some things that can be canceled out already. I hope some of you can see it. Let's see what we got. Okay, what is going on? Get rid of this. I guess not. All right, let's move it right here. All right, this is tough, but that's what I'm here for. Looks like I can get rid of that line. All right, no problem. All right, here. I see that I have a 2x squared and a 2x squared, so those go away. Okay? Bam, bam. They go away. I see that I have a 3x, a negative 3x, and a 3x. So these go away also. And that's all I can see that I can remove for now. There might be more stuff, but for now, let me just get rid of that stuff so we can clear some stuff out. So we're left with 4xh plus 2h squared minus 3h, all divided by h. I see that the numerator all share in h. So let's extract it out. So h, and on the inside we'll have 4x. If you multiply this back, you get back 4xh. Okay, so just keep that in mind. All right, let's keep going. 4x plus 2. I took out an h, so I only have one left. H times h is h squared. Minus 3, because 3 times h is 3h. Minus 3h. So h times 3. H times negative 3 gives us negative 3h. All divided by h. And look what happens here. Now the h's cancel out. Boom, boom. Trust the process. So our final answer is now 4x plus 2h minus 3. And that's our answer. All right, 4x plus 2h minus 3. So let's write that down right here. So here we have 4x plus 2h minus 3. And that's our answer. Pretty rad, huh? It looks like the instructions don't say or include like what numbers it can be. So I mean, I guess you cannot include them. But I'm inclined to say that, you know, h cannot equal 0 just because of what we originally had, right? I don't want to not include it because I don't know the effect it'll have. But to err in the side of caution, I do want to say what these values can't be. I'm not sure if they matter, but to me they do. And if I learn that they don't, well then, I mean, it's not like it's much work, right? We can just be like, oh, we don't have to include the interval, like what numbers they can't be. Well, then just get rid of it, right? So just keep that in mind. All right, guys?